You ever made a hire that looked perfect on paper only to realize 6 months later that they were a total mismatch for your culture? Or maybe you launched a new program in your church, but the only people who signed up were the ones you were secretly hoping wouldn't show up? You feel like you're doing everything right. You're being generous, you're opening the doors wide, you're being all things to all people, but there's a hidden economic force that seems to be working against you. It's a silent killer of organizations, and if you don't understand it, you'll accidentally build a culture of takers instead of builders. Economists call this adverse selection. Adverse selection happens when there's an asymmetry of information. That's a fancy way of saying that one person knows something that the other person doesn't know. And because of that gap, the bad options, the risky ones, are the ones most likely to jump at your offer. Think about health insurance. If a company offers a plan with no medical exam and a flat rate, who will be the first people to sign up for that exam? It's not the marathon runners. It's the people who know they are sick. The adverse or the bad group selects themselves into the pool, while the healthy group stays away because the price is too high for them. In your leadership, adverse selection is the reason why easy offers often attract difficult people. If you lead a business and you advertise a job with easy hours, no experience required, high pay, you might think you're being a blessing to people, but you've just created a magnet for adverse selection. You're signaling to the market that you don't value excellence. So the people who don't have excellence are the ones who are going to flood your inbox. We see this principle play out vividly in the life of Gideon in Judges chapter 7. Gideon starts with 32,000 men to fight the Midianites. Okay, maybe that's a decent number, 32,000. I mean, it seems like more is better. But God knew something Gideon didn't. He knew there was an asymmetry of information. He knew that many of those men were terrified and lacked faith. If Gideon had gone to battle with all 32,000, the adverse element, the fearful, probably would have poisoned the morale of the brave. So God forced a selection process. Remember, he told Gideon to tell everyone, whoever's fearful and trembling, go ahead and return home.
Tell everyone who is fearful and trembling to return home.
And 22,000 men left immediately. God didn't want a pool of soldiers that was diluted by people who didn't want to be there. He was filtering for quality. Look at the second filter. God took them down to the water to drink. And most of the men put their faces in the water, first order thinking, I'm thirsty, I'm going to drink. But a tiny group, only 300, lapped the water while keeping their eyes up, watching for the enemy. The 300 had the information that Gideon needed. They were alert. They were kind of the select few. And by creating a very specific, difficult test, Gideon avoided adverse selection and ended up with a team that could actually do the job. As a Christian leader, you're often tempted to lower the bar because you want to be inclusive, you want to be kind, you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But listen to me, lowering the bar for entry actually raises the cost of participation for your best people. When you allow a C player to stay on your team because you don't want to have a difficult conversation, you're signaling to your A players that their excellence really doesn't matter at all. You'll eventually select out your best people and select in the ones who just want a paycheck or a comfortable seat. Jesus was the master of avoiding adverse selection. In Luke 14, great crowds were following him. I think leaders today would have been like, this is incredible. How can we get more? From a growth hacking perspective, it was a win. But Jesus knew that many in the crowd were there for the free bread and the miracles. They were the adverse selection. He didn't make it easier for them to follow. He turned around and actually made it harder. He said, if anyone comes to me and doesn't hate his own father and mother, yes, and even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. Now, talk about a filter. He was thinning the herd. He was looking for the 300 who would keep their eyes up. So how do you fix this in your world today? How do you stop attracting the wrong people and start selecting the right ones? Number 1, create high hurdle entry points. If you're starting a small group or a new project, don't just say anybody can come. Maybe say, hey, we're meeting at 6 a.m. and there's a required reading list. The healthy, the committed, will be energized by the challenge. The adverse, the lukewarm, will select themselves out. Secondly, increase transparency. Adverse selection lives in the shadows of asymmetric information. If you're brutally honest about the cost, that's going to help. In your hiring, tell people about all the bad parts of the job. Tell them, we work hard here. We have high standards. We expect you to grow. The wrong kind of person will be scared off by that. The right person will say, finally, place where I can actually be challenged, a place that has high standards, a place that expects something out of me. This is great. Thirdly, watch the signals. In economics, we use signals to bridge the information gap. Maybe a college degree is a signal, a professional certification is a signal. In the kingdom, the signal is fruit. Matthew 7:16 says, "You'll recognize them by their fruits." Don't listen to what people say in the interview or the first meeting. Watch what people do when no one else is looking. Listen, your mission is too important to be weighed down by people who aren't truly called to it. You aren't being mean by having high standards. You're being a steward. Don't be afraid to let the 22,000 go home. God can do more with your 300 committed, alert, selected leaders than he can with a stadium full of people who are only there for a suit. Stop lowering the bar. Start counting the cost and watch who steps up to meet you there. If this video helped you understand why your team might be struggling, please hit subscribe or like the video. We're here to help you lead with biblical wisdom and economic clarity. And again, if there's a topic you want me to cover, just put it in the comments or send me a note. Tell me in the comments, where have you seen adverse selection show up in your own life? Have you ever lowered the bar only to regret it later? Let's learn from each other. I hope God blesses you as a Christian leader and keep selecting for excellence. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day walking with Jesus.